opportunity to state their concerns.
During the question and answers, the veterans raised some demands, which include the need for this lecture to be held more regularly, and second, for them to be given priority when they come for their checkups.
It was also a time to play catch-up and rekindle friendships. The chief said the veterans are still making meaningful contributions.
We have re-engaged some of them, especially in the areas of aircraft maintenance. Like I said, you see, these are skills that it takes a long time to build a man.
Ivy Kano, TVC News, Lagos.
President Bola Tinubu believes to attract foreign investors, Nigerians must promote the country first. He gave this advice at the inauguration of several projects executed by Enugu State Governor Peter Mba. TVC News senior reporter Bambilia Joy has the details.
It is his first official visit to Enugu, southeast Nigeria. The presidential plane touched down at the Achebe International Airport and was received by key stakeholders in southeast region, after which President Bola Tinubu inspected the Guard of Honor. The president's first job in Enugu is the inauguration of 30 out of 260 completed smart green schools. Then the president moved to the symbolic commissioning of 90 rehabilitated and constructed roads at the Even Roundabout, as well as the abandoned International Conference Center.
About security, there's no better investment that you can make than the effective security of life. And I saw those vehicles, the stress, rapid response is the way to go. It looked like the other name I created in Lagos, rapid response. Please, continue to cooperate and collaborate.
Governor Peter Mba expresses his desire to invest in education to solve insecurity, build sound human capital,
which Your Excellency has graciously commissioned. A number of those projects are essentially connecting the dots for us to enable us realize our dream of growing the economy from the current levels of 4.4 billion to 30 billion. Our development model is one that it's all-encompassing.
At the stakeholders meeting, President Bola Tinubu explained that the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line is a work in progress, assures that the Anambra-Benue River Basin will be considered to grow the country gas supply. Other projects inaugurated is the state-of-the-art command and control center with 150 petrol vehicles fitted with AI-embedded surveillance cameras. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
President Bola Tinubu was able to weather through the storm of 2024 caused by the tough economic reforms. The renewed hope agenda of the president was thoroughly scrutinized, but it is beginning to look like the administration is on course. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akode reports.
2024 was a year that tested the resilience of President Bola Tinubu's administration. A year the guts of the necessary economic reforms were shaken from the foundation. But in spite of the uncertainty, criticisms and backlash, President Bola Tinubu held strongly to his conviction and slowly steered the ship of state in the direction of the renewed hope agenda. Indeed, 2024 was a busy year for President Bola Tinubu as he made diplomatic shuttles across the length and breadth of the globe in a desperate search for investors ready to do business in Nigeria.
We must ensure that the spirit of the collaboration and cooperation between our two leading countries in Africa will intensify and deepen under our leadership of our respective nations. This is not a matter of choice, but of destiny that includes an historical responsibility.
Within 1 year since assumption of office, President Bola Tinubu had traveled out of the country 17 times. And by October of 2024, President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima undertook 41 trips across 26 countries, collectively spending 180 days or 6 months on foreign engagements. But the presidency says so far the Tinubu administration has been able to attract more than $30 billion in foreign direct investment. Also recently there was an announcement of a $5 billion final investment decision by Shell for the Bonga North Deep Offshore Field, which is seen as a further proof of the Tinubu administration's investment-friendly policies.
Our country attracted foreign direct investment worth more than $30 billion in the last year. Fellow compatriots, our administration is committed to free enterprises, free entry, and free exit in investment.
These foreign trips and visits have also been reciprocated by some global leaders. It also led to the signing of memoranda of understanding and cooperations that will significantly contribute to the development of Nigeria's GDP.
In addition to statements of joint mutual interest and commitments to development, security, and undertaking to work together for the betterment of Nigeria, Africa, and to partake in global development, specific agreements were signed, memorandum of understanding.
The Belt and Road Initiative is China's modern-day Silk Road, connecting countries, connecting people, connecting economies.
Despite these efforts, much more was desired as economic growth remained sluggish, and President Tinubu's ministers faced criticisms for underperforming in their assigned roles. Pressure soon began mounting on President Bola Tinubu to reshuffle his cabinet and inject new impetus that will stimulate economic growth. Eventually, in October this year, President Bola Tinubu wielded the big stick and discharged ministers perceived to be underperforming. But he also restructured the Federal Executive Council and created new ministries, particularly the Ministry of Livestock Development. The ministry is seen as a masterstroke by the president in tackling the problem of food security, solving the farmer heather crisis, and also creating a value chain that will create wealth and contribute to economic growth.
Since 17 months, I thank many of the ministers that are present here today for hard work that they've embarked upon tirelessly to put Nigeria on this recovery path.
Despite the challenges of 2024, there are signs backed by government data showing better days in the near future. Nigerians have waited for 18 months to see the reforms yield results, but the administration of President Bola Tinubu says the long wait is almost over as the economy is gradually getting back up and running.
Policymakers, development experts and community stakeholders have convened in Kano State to address the challenges facing the North and chart a pathway for progress. At the summit, Northern leaders unveiled an ambitious 2045 development goals aimed at transforming the region's socio-economic landscape. TVC News senior reporter Ibrahim Issa reports.
It was a landmark gathering as policymakers, development experts, and stakeholders meet in Kano State with a shared vision for northern Nigeria's future. The discussions focus on three critical objectives: analyzing the region's current challenges and opportunities, proposing innovative solutions to catalyze transformational change, and outlining strategic steps to achieve Northern Nigeria Development Goals (NNDGs) 2045. These goals were crafted following a thorough analysis of present challenges in the region, including gaps in education, widespread poverty, and persistent security concerns.
Whether we like it or not, the future of this country is more regional than national. with the setting up of the Ministry for Regional Development. It's high time for every region to go back and refocus and look at their potential for growth, look at their challenges, and develop a framework and strategies for implementation. And that is why we come up with the Northern Nigerian Development Goals 2045 to set a direction for implementation of actionable strategy where we want to see Northern Nigeria in 2045.
Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State, represented by his special advisor on state affairs, Usman Bala, underscored the urgency of addressing these critical issues to secure the North's future.
The gathering here today is about trying to unveil and set standard or framework for the development of Northern Nigeria as a regional body.
Other stakeholders highlighted the immense opportunities available in the North, including its youthful population, rich natural resources, and significant potential for agricultural and renewable energy development.
I'm not underemphasizing the importance of leadership, but political leadership is key to every development.
The Northern Nigeria Development Goals 2045 lay out a vision for a region driven by inclusive economic growth. Stakeholders expressed optimism that adopting these strategic goals would serve as a roadmap for sustainable and transformative progress as a region. With collective effort and commitment, they believe Northern Nigeria can achieve unprecedented development and prosperity. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.
And you're watching TVC News. We'll take a moment and return with more stories. Please stay with us.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adamawa 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
Thanks for staying with TVC News. Governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintiri, has directed all political appointees aspiring for elective positions to set aside their ambitions in 2025 and focus on building the state. Mr. Fintiri, who spoke during the stakeholders meeting in Yola, insists anyone unable to abide by these directives should step down from their position. Senior reporter Olabi Adenose Fadin, this report.
The PDP end of the year stakeholders meeting is to assess the party's performance for the year 2024. The People's Democratic Party State Chairman Tahir Shehu says Governor Ahmadu Fintiri has fulfilled all the political promises made to the electorate. Mr. Shehu also announces the lifting of suspension on all affected party members and warned the executives of the party to be cautious in handling the affairs of the party.
Party chairman and ESCO members, please take note of this. Should there be any member of the party who has been suspended at any level, the suspension is lifted.
Governor Ahmadu Fintiri highlights his administration's achievements, including the creation of 83 district heads and 7 chiefdoms and emirates.
We've been able to create 84 new districts. We've been able to create, so far, 7 emirs and chiefdoms. The essence of all this is to give us a sense of dignity, bring government nearer to the people, and to cover a lot of ungoverned spaces within the state.
He stresses his commitment to investing in security, making the state attractive to investors and providing jobs for the youth.
We empowered 65,000 potential entrepreneurs. There will be no politics on my agenda for 2025. It is still work for the people, work for the people. And if you are within this government, I still ask you, if you have the idea of doing politics, jettison it.
Other speakers agree with the governor on his views. Meanwhile, the Pena de Boitier Development Association Worldwide, a prominent socio-cultural group in Adamawa State, has condemned the statement made by cleric Sheikh Salihu Imam, accusing him of spreading divisive and inflammatory rhetorics. A viral video featuring Sheikh Salihu Imam has criticized Governor Ahmadu Fintiri for creating more emirates and chiefdom.
Sheikh Salihu A.A. Imam, whatever his true identity may be, in doing this, malign and slander the persons and offices of both Hampata and Achama and their subjects, and also went further to discredit our traditions and faith by referring to our royal fathers, Arne.
The controversial comments reportedly criticized the newly enacted District Creation Law of 2024, which Sheikh Salihu claimed undermined the authority of the Lamido of Adamawa.
And 4,036 households affected by flood in Gumi local government area of Zamfara state will soon have a roof over their heads. This is happening after 5 months of taking refuge in public schools and other places due to the heavy downpour that destroyed their houses last year. Theophilus Darufai reports.
267,750 households were affected by floods in 10 local government areas of Zamfara state in 2024. That's according to authorities of the State Emergency Management Agency. Gumi local government is the worst hit as houses, farmlands and other valuables were washed away. The senator representing Zamfara West at the National Assembly, Abdulaziz Yari, has promised to rebuild all affected houses. Not just that, the former governor through a committee also commenced the distribution of cash and building materials to the affected persons. The move is for the beneficiaries to have their houses built before the next rainy season.
We are targeting all the beneficiaries, honestly speaking. So we have 4,036 victims. These are about 200 trucks of cement. Each one consists of 900 bags, totaling of 180,000 bags of cement. There are also zinc in order to assist the flood victims of Gumi. We'll also provide the materials that will help them. This is that they have started the block work, the foundation plan, up to the linter and head course level. And after the head course, we are going to provide them with wood, nails, and zinc for them to be able to make the roofings.
Some of the beneficiaries described the senator as an answered prayer.
My house was completely washed away by flood last year. Myself and my family have been squatting with relatives since then. I was given 594,100 bags of cement to rebuild my house. We thank Senator Abdulaziz Yari for this help. Words alone cannot express how I feel. I was given cash, cement, and zinc.
Rini is optimistic that the beneficiaries will not sell the items given to them, considering what they've passed through in the last 5 months and the measures put in place.
We had a stakeholders meeting. We invited most of the victims, including the village heads and district heads. We had a meeting with them. We advised them properly. And honestly speaking, from what I observed, I don't think there will be a person who says on.
The items distributed in the first phase includes cash, 200 trucks of cement and zinc, among other building materials. Theophilus Darufai, TVC News Kusau.
Now to entertainment. Music gives joy to the heart and makes trouble a forgotten moment. At an event in Lagos State tagged Basology showcases the talents of young ones. Young children displayed their dexterity in various musical instruments. The convener, Dedayo Adenola, tasked children not to hide their innate talent. He also called for more support from parents and other key stakeholders.
basically attended computers, we're raising a generation of innovative thinkers who are using technologies to change the world around them. So you can see a lot of children playing musical instruments, you can see a lot of children singing today. There's a way technology can help them enhance what they are doing. And what we're teaching these children is to become contributors to technologies and not just consumers.
This event was about having adults being showcased often. So we don't have a platform for children where we have them, celebrated and, showcased properly. So we are here to, give them that platform to shine. That we are paying attention, we are paying attention to details about those children. And
to train children requires a certain kind of gift. I don't have it, but I can tell you, Basology has it. They have a way with the children. I mean, him and my son are like one and two. They're almost like family. So there's this bond, and the boy is learning. I can see his growth. It's been about 6 years. He started when he was 4. So you can imagine the journey that he has been on, and it's been wonderful.
Every child has a talent. Every child can groom their talent, and just look at us.
Whatever people are doing for kids, whatever form of education, whether it is STEM education, whether it is music, whatever it is, we want to be part of it.
That's TVC News this hour. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website, www.tvcnews.tv. You can also follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and on X at TVC News NG. Or YouTube, we are live at TVC News Nigeria. Thanks for watching.
I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Muraya Afolabi Brand, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of your view are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
For a nation that desires a skilled agricultural workforce and preparation of future farmers and agri-professionals to enable the attainment of food security, agri-universities are almost indispensable. The Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, FUNAB, a specialized institution established by the federal government with the mandate of teaching, promoting research and extension services, is currently keen into extension services and partnerships geared towards boosting food production, thereby complementing the Bola Tinubu administration's efforts in the area of food security. Sitting on about 10,000 hectares in Abeokuta, Ogun State, the university has been able to supply produce in quantities to Nigerians. Recently, I visited the university to see the strides being made in mechanized farming and food production generally. On this day, the heavens opened up at the Alabata campus of the university, Not mounting the downpour, we moved around different sections of the agric extension services being offered by the university. At the poultry section, I was taken to the layers units. Here, eggs and chickens are produced in large quantities.
Layers. When do you normally pick the eggs?
In the morning or in the afternoon.
Okay. So there is not one single time.
No, twice
a day.
Twice a day.
Now, what is the major challenge that you face as
the problem all over feed, supply of maize. But locally we are trying to overcome that because we also really plant our own maize. But we are still not able to meet that. But thank God we are able to do that. So we hope to grow to the extent that we can meet our entire grain farming. So we just produce our maize. When we had a peak of those crises, we just have to, from the pool of our reserve, we just have to deploy it.
When you're talking about bread,
maize.
You're not talking about maize or bread.
Maize, I'm talking about maize.
Maize or bread.
Maize.
I see the eggs are quite big because these are fairly old layers.
You all are violent.
The institution's vice-chancellor assured that the institution will continue to live up to its mandate, leveraging on solid partnerships and the competence of its staff.
Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, is the best university. Interrogated all of this without our knowledge. And at the end of the day, they came to the conclusion that no, this is a university that is serious-minded and working towards actualizing their goals. So we have that. Then, of course, in Nigeria, the current ranking of Nigerian universities for this year, which came out about a month ago, said that we are number 10 in the country in terms of ranking. And this because we have about 274 universities that were ranked. But then, for us, what we do is that for every organ of management, from the council to the Senate, to the management, the staff, and even the students, we have some core values that we judge ourselves by. We call it XIGs. EXIGIX. EX for excellence, integrity, global relevance, innovation, and service. So for whatever we do in our processes, we are mindful of these core values. For instance, the first one is excellence. That, is this excellent? Could there be more improvement? And we've been doing that. Now, with regards to food security, this is an issue that is contemporary now. When the current president came in last year, he declared state of emergency on food security. And we keyed into this. However, before that time, for decades now, we've had a challenge. We have challenges. Now, one key challenge is the fact that we were not really established to go into direct production as to feed the nation. You know, mandate, remember, teaching, research, community engagement. But then, realizing that the president has declared, state of emergency of food insecurity, we now did something. We try to partner with the private sector. We have several of them that are really interested in increasing agricultural productivity. I tell you, due to the pronouncements of the president and what the government has been doing, a lot of people are now going into agriculture. And so we reached out to some came, we welcomed them, And as at now, I can tell you that we have not less than about 10 or 12 private sector players that we're in partnership with.
I was taken to the boilers units. Here, chickens are produced in large quantities.
So we have 1,000 beds here. This is what I mean. It's a product of partnership. Knowing our constraint in terms of budget is partnership from Lagos. So we can bring in the money and investor. Yeah. Bring in the money, we have the facility, and we have an MOU. We'll be producing 1,000 beds every 7 weeks. And the target is 2.5 kilo. This they are the 5th week now.
5th week.
And 7 weeks will be up. Even the weight, some of them 2.7, they are ready to select. You have good ones.
Bring down back in. I want to feel the weight. It's heavy. And it's how many weeks this one?
5 weeks.
5 weeks. And is this heavy? It's nearly overfed. Look at. The university also has a hatchery where eggs are hatched to produce new birds. In the area of research and development, the university, through consistency and hard work of its loyal staff, has been able to develop different breeds of chickens. A notable one among them is what is known as the Funab Alpha.
This one is a peaceful feather.
So it was developed by Professor Olufemilayo Ayoka Ibambo. So we have a different genotype of that. We have naked neck, normal feather, and peaceful feather. So, and after we generate them, so the students are working on it to do their research work. So since then we have the board like this. So and every Wednesday we are collecting our Achebe eggs and take to the hatchery.
We collected them from different zones, different regions of Nigeria, and developed them. So they are local, but they can compete with the exotic breed in terms of the quantity of meat they produce. If we go to market to buy local, they will not be as big as this one. So this one we are doing this broiler is local. Yes, it's local.
The university is also big in crop farming. Its officials say it has been able to use its produce to bridge the gap between the town and gown, supplying produce to neighboring communities.
What we want to do is to ensure that we are productive, irrespective of the limitations. Yes, there will be the limitations. Government alone cannot fund education, but we have partnered and we are doing our own too. We have a directorate of university farms that with what we have from government sources, some internally generated revenue, they are into diverse kinds of production. They are producing cowpea, producing groundnut, producing maize, producing vegetables too on our farm. And one other thing we do is that in this university, yes, we have this production going on. But you see, agriculture is about the value chain. The value chain is talking about production of input, production, processing, and marketing. So we have processing unit on campus. We call it industrial parks unit initially. But what we did was now to consolidate our industrial parks unit into a venture. We call it Funab Integrated Venture.
Rice is usually in high demand in Nigeria, but beans also enjoys tremendous appeal, especially in the southwest where the university is situated. I was taken to the beans and it was such a revealing experience. Next to the beans farm is the pineapple farm. pineapple. Yeah. So a lot of crop farming going on here. We want to defeat hunger. We want to defeat food insecurity. And FUNAB is playing its own part. Apart from this, the university is also into planting of sweet potatoes, yams and groundnuts.
It's harvesting time and it's ongoing. Plenty. And what you're also doing,
so fresh.
Coming from this is what you do, this circular economy. This plant residue is not a waste. We have a forage shopper that we shop all this for our ruminants, for our sheep and goats.
This is raw granite. Raw granite. This is the carrot farm. There is nothing that they are not planting at Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Dr. Bankole is here, and he's harvesting the carrot. I can feel the freshness. You know? Let's see. Raise it up, okay. This is carrot. You know, I didn't know that we could actually plant this here. I used to think that all the carrots that we eat come from the north. But you people have really surprised me. Speaking about the contributions of the university to food supply in the southwest of Nigeria, the Deputy Registrar in charge of Senate and Admission said FUNAB is living up to expectations and requires more partnerships and support from the federal government. He affirms that no student can graduate from the university without having a practical experience.
Abeokuta is one that integrates the entire value chain of agriculture. So as a result, we embark on so many things. Of course, you have gone round, you have seen quite a number of those things that we do. But by way of courtesy, some of the items that we produce here are purely FUNAB items. For example, one of them is the FUNAB honey, which is from our aviary here in FUNAB. It is produced here, and everything about it is purely FUNAB. Some designated supermarkets and stores in the country, you will find the FUNAB palm wine being sold in those stores. Then we have FUNAB palm oil, natural and very, very good, very healthy, well-processed FUNAB palm oil. Then, of course, our gari is also very good, well-processed, dry gari, you know, better than the one that, of course, better than the one that you will find in the ordinary market. So these are just a few among those products that we have, which are FUNAB products, which we have continued to palm wine that I was telling you are in designated supermarkets. But beyond that, even the production, parts of it has an interaction between the town and the gown for it to be fully or finally processed. So there is this relationship between town and gown, which we have continued to sustain.
Each Nigerian must come up with this reality. We cannot ask government to do everything for us, especially food production. You see, probably we've grown to have this mentality that, oh, government, government, government. But no, I learned about a country. They are not that big, but I read about it that at the backyard of almost everybody in that country, they have something they are growing. And so we must all get involved. It is not enough to just say, Ebin power, and then we believe it's the president, it's the governor, it's their responsibility to produce. They won't go to the farm. Theirs is to provide the enabling environment, honestly. And you see, the other, where agriculture is going, it's a business now. So it's not subsistent that you just get it so cheaply, because the factors of production are not cheap also. So each person, we must have this orientation that as much as possible, we must go into it. Yes, given that agriculture is a practice that comes with drudgery, but then we just have to do it. We just have to, like they say, put our shoulders to the task of producing food. And the other thing is this: some people have the money, they want to engage, venture into it, but the people to do it, to do the job, they are lacking, so to say. Hardly will you get real, hardworking, honest, workers nowadays. So we must come to terms that honesty, hard work, they are all the components that can develop a nation. It's not national development is not only on the leadership, it includes also the followership. I tell you something, somebody can have money today to raise 10,000 laying birds, and that will give us egg. But you see, ask him to go, he will be afraid, because he said, people will take this egg. You see, that's the reality. And so they will withdraw and rather take their money elsewhere. And then we'll say, Ebi power. Ebi will power in a way if we don't. So that is my charge to Nigerians. Of course, government should keep up the effort to provide enabling environment, honestly. Enabling environment, roads, some finances for some people, markets. And if you see something, markets are now developing because of this transportation costs. Markets are getting closer and closer to the people.
We then moved to the university's tomato farm, a practical farm where students planted tomatoes in large quantities.
Been a very rewarding rainy day here at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. I've been with Professor Bankole and his team looking at the bountiful agri potential of not just this institution but our country. We are here in the tomato farm. As you can see, there is tremendous yields across the length and breadth of this farm. And it is really reassuring that our country can do much better in terms of agri production if we fully apply ourselves at all levels to it. The university has done very well in crop production, in animal husbandry, and it can only get better.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Albert Chinua Achebe was born November 16, 1930 in Ogidi, Nigeria. He went to Government College in Umuahia, Nigeria. In 1948, Achebe won a scholarship to the University of Ibadan to study medicine, but after a year, he changed his major to writing. After graduation in 1953, he became a script writer for the Nigerian Broadcasting Service, NBS, eventually becoming the head programmer for the discussion series. In 1956, he visited London for the first time to take a training course with the BBC. On returning, he moved to Enugu and edited and produced stories for the NBS. Achebe was unhappy with books about Africa written by British authors such as Joseph Conrad and John Buchan, because he felt the descriptions of African people were inaccurate and insulting. In his spare time, he worked on Things Fall Apart. The novel was published in 1958. The book won immediate international recognition and also became the basis for a play. His second book, No Longer at Ease, published in 1960, is set in the last decade before Nigeria achieved independence. In 1961, Chinua Achebe met and married Christiana Chinwe Okoli, and they eventually had 4 children. The third book in the African trilogy, Arrow of God, was published in 1964. Achebe published his 4th novel, A Man of the People, in 1966. The novel tells the story of the widespread corruption of Nigerian politicians and ends in a military coup. During the Biafra conflict, Achebe's house was bombed and his friend Christopher Okim was killed. Achebe and his family went into hiding in Biafra and then fled to Britain for the duration of the war. From 1972 to 1976, Achebe held a visiting professorship in African literature at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. After that, he returned again to teach at the University of Nigeria. He became chair of the Association of Nigerian Writers and edited Uwandi Igbo, a journal of Igbo life and culture.
Hello and welcome to TVC News this hour. The Nigerian Air Force is set to boost its air power to enhance the fight against terrorism in the country. This was revealed by the representative of the Chief of Air Staff in Lagos while meeting with Nigerian Air Force veterans. In the state senior correspondent, Abikanu has the details.
This pally is between the Chief of Air Staff and Air Force veterans.
Please come to the hospital.
The Logistics Command knows the area of importance to the veterans, which includes their documentation, health, and others.
How we honor our retirees will tell us down the line how our own end will be. So it's important today to give them the absolute respect and treatment that these distinguished noble gentlemen deserve.
As you grow older, your body requires less nutrition, requires less calories. So therefore, you must reduce your portions. Also try and ensure that you sleep well by following the sleep hygiene steps that I outlined earlier on. And please, as much as you can, regular, safe sex with a trusted partner.
Air Staff, represented by Air Vice Marshal Ahmed Bakari, used the opportunity to give veterans an update on the fight against terrorism.
Within 2025, which is January, and 2026 is hopefully going to gain delivery of additional 50 platforms spanning fighter, transports, and helicopters.
Then it was time to let the veterans know the plans the chief has put in place to make their retirement easier.
Priority into Air Force schools will be given veterans. When I say this, I know that I am equally speaking from what the CAS has constantly reiterated.
The veterans were also allowed an opportunity to state their concerns.
During the question and answers, the veterans raised some demands, which include the need for this lecture to be held more regularly, and second, for them to be given priority when they come for their checkups.
It was also a time to play catch-up and rekindle friendships. The chief said the veterans are still making meaningful contributions.
We have re-engaged some of them, especially in the areas of aircraft maintenance. Like I said, you see, these are skills that it takes a long time to build a man.
Ivy Kano, TVC News, Lagos.
President Bola Tinubu believes to attract foreign investors, Nigerians must promote the country first. He gave this advice at the inauguration of several projects executed by Governor Peter Ba. TVC News senior reporter Bamdina Jai has the details.
It is his first official visit to Enugu, southeast Nigeria. The presidential plane touched down at the Achebe International Airport and was received by key stakeholders in southeast region, after which President Bola Tinubu inspected the Guard of Honor. The president's first job in Enugu is the inauguration of 30 out of 260 completed smart green schools. Then the president moved to the symbolic commissioning of 90 rehabilitated and constructed roads at the Even Roundabout, as well as the abandoned International Conference Center.
About security, there's no better investment that you can make than the effective security of life. And I saw those vehicles, the stress, rapid response is the way to go. It looked like the other name I created in Lagos, rapid response. Please, continue to cooperate and collaborate.
Governor Peter Ba expresses his desire to invest in education to solve insecurity, build sound human capital,
which Your Excellency has graciously commissioned. A number of those projects are essentially connecting the dots for us to enable us realize our dream of growing the economy from the current levels of 4.4 billion to 30 billion. Our development model is one that it's all-encompassing.
At the stakeholders meeting, President Bola Tinubu explained that the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line is a work in progress, assures that the Anambra-Benue River Basin will be considered to grow the country gas supply. Other project inaugurated is the state-of-the-art command and control center with 150 petrol vehicles fitted with AI-embedded surveillance cameras. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
President Bola Tinubu was able to weather through the storm of 2024 caused by the
shaking from the foundation. But in spite of the uncertainty, criticisms and backlash, President Bola Tinubu held strongly to his conviction and slowly steered the ship of state in the direction of the renewed hope agenda. Indeed, 2024 was a busy year for President Bola Tinubu as he made diplomatic shuttles across the length and breadth of the globe in a desperate search for investors ready to do business.
We must ensure that the spirit of the collaboration and cooperation between our two leading countries in Africa will intensify and deepen under our leadership of our respective nations. This is not a matter of choice, but of destiny that include an historical responsibility.
Within 1 year since assumption of office, President Bola Tinubu had traveled out of the country 17 times. And by October of 2024, President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima undertook 41 trips across 26 countries, collectively spending 180 days or 6 months on foreign engagements. But the presidency says so far, the Tinubu administration has been able to attract more than $30 billion in foreign direct investment. Also recently, there was an announcement of a $5 billion final investment decision by Shell for the Bonga North Deep Offshore Field, which is seen as a further proof of the Tinubu administration's investment-friendly policies.
Our country attracted foreign direct investment worth more than $30 billion in the last year. Fellow compatriots, our administration is committed to free enterprises, free entry and free exit in investment.
These foreign trips and visits have also been reciprocated by some global leaders. It also led to the signing of memoranda of understanding and operations that will significantly contribute to the development of Nigeria's GDP.
In addition to statements of joint mutual interest and commitments to development, security, and undertaking to work together for the betterment of Nigeria, Africa, and to partake in global development, specific agreements were signed, memorandum of understanding.
The Belt and Road Initiative is China's modern-day Silk Road, connecting countries, connecting people, connecting economies.
Despite these efforts, much more was desired as economic growth remained sluggish, and President Tinubu's ministers faced criticisms for underperforming in their assigned roles. Pressure soon began mounting on President Bola Tinubu to reshuffle his cabinet and inject new impetus that will stimulate economic growth. Eventually, in October this year, President Bola Tinubu wielded the big stick and discharged ministers perceived to be underperforming. But he also restructured the Federal Executive Council and created new ministries, particularly the Ministry of Livestock Development. The ministry is seen as a masterstroke by the president in tackling the problem of food security, solving the farmer heather crisis, and also creating a value chain that will create wealth and contribute to economic growth.
Since 17 months, I thank many of the ministers that are present today for hard work that they've embarked upon tirelessly to put Nigeria on this recovery path.
Despite the challenges of 2024, there are signs backed by government data showing better days in the near future. Nigerians have waited for 18 months to see the reforms yield results, but the administration of President Bola Tinubu says the long wait is almost over as the economy is gradually getting back up and running.
You're watching TVC News. We'll take a moment and return with more stories. Please stay with us.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with TVC News. Governor of your state, Seyi Makinde, says Nigerians do not want a one-party system, but a political that gives citizens the choice to elect the representatives from other political parties when necessary. The governor said this during a visit at National Working Committee members of the People's Democratic Party to commiserate with the governor on the death of 35 children during the stampede in the state. The PDP chieftains also came to present a new national secretary of the party, Ude Okoye, to him. According to Governor Makinde, Nigerians want a situation where they will be able to kick out non-performing leaders, as this would only be possible if there are alternatives.
Members of the National Working Committee, they came to Ibadan, first to commiserate with us over the unfortunate incident that happened towards the end of last year, where we lost those 35 innocent children to stampede. And because of that, I actually cancelled my birthday celebration. So they came to say, well, even though belated, they still felt they should come and wish me well, on the beginning of a new year in my life.
Say to the families that lost their loved ones that they should please bear it, having in mind that God is the one that brought those our kids, and it is also the will of God that they should go through that same channel. I will tell them that the same Almighty God has a reason, and that reason will come out definitely, because God doesn't fail. He will not fail any of those family members.
To other news, Governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintiri, has directed all political appointees aspiring for elected positions to set aside their ambitions in 2025 and focus on building the state. Mr. Fintiri spoke during the stakeholders meeting in Yola, insists anyone unable to abide by this directive should step down from their position. Senior reporter Wolabi Adenusi-Fadin, this report.
The PDP end-of-the-year stakeholders meeting is to assess the party's performance for the year 2024. The People's Democratic Party State Chairman,